Hello and a very warm welcome to ET Brand Equity in association with SAP presents Digital Horizon, charting a future together. I'm your host Divina Lasson and I'm thrilled to bring you this forward-looking conversation designed to spotlight how visionary enterprises are embracing cutting-edge technologies to reimagine operations, elevate customer experience, and of course build future-ready, sustainable businesses. Today, we will unpack how organizations are harnessing technology not just to keep pace with change, but also to shape the horizon ahead, collaboratively, responsibly, and boldly. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to warmly welcome a very esteemed panel of guests today. Ketan Patel, co-founder and CEO M-Swipe Technologies Private Limited, Sneha Vaswani, co-founder and CEO Miko, Dhruv Chopra, co-founder Chalo, Vijay Patel, CTO Neo Group, Dr. R.P. Mehta, co-founder Mako, and Gaurav Varma, CEO PharmEasy. All right, I'd like to very warmly welcome all of you to Digital Horizon. It's such a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're here on a very exciting episode because ultimately you're all founders, CEOs of prominent companies here, and you're doing such exciting things when it comes to your tech innovation and ultimately how you're really harnessing AI. So really excited to deep dive into that with each of you. But to kickstart, if you could help us understand a little bit about the vision of your organizations, how it started. A lot of you have come from industries which are already quite busy, quite cluttered, but of course you've all paved the way through. So love to understand a little bit of context setting. Ketan, should we start with you?
I run a payments company in India called M-Swipe. We happen to be one of the largest payment aggregators in the country. We have 700,000 merchants who use our services. We've been in operation for the last 13 years. One of the few companies which have invested in themselves. So by investing in themselves, I mean that the entire tech stack required to process payments, including the terminals, are designed by us.
Yes.
So I was just telling someone that, we decided very early in our lives that if we are to die, we'll die with our hands.
Okay.
So terminals are designed by us. The entire pay tech, which is required to process payments, is made by us. So whether it is the onboarding platform, the risk management platform, the gateway, the switch, the telemetry, the TMS, everything is made by us. So now we aspire to go international. So we want to be a India-based MNC. We are present in 2 countries at this point in time, UAE and Singapore. We want to be in 5 other countries in the next 12 months.
Wow, fantastic. Thanks for that. Would you say that at the very onset, there was one specific big bet that you made, that you played to really ensure that you cut through, again, quite a competitive industry?
So like I said, we invested in ourselves. We didn't want to be dependent on third parties for the business. This business is, it doesn't make a lot of money. There are very few payment companies in the country which make money. And payment being a regulated business, being dependent on third parties will kill you.
Yes.
Right? And we cater to tier 2 to 6, where the merchants are very cost conscious but want the best quality.
Sure. Yeah.
And you can do that only if you build everything on your own. So that's what we focused on. That's the biggest bet that we took.
Wonderful. Yeah. Keep the reins in-house. Yes. Yeah, wonderful. Sneha, welcome. Such a pleasure to have you here. So now you come from such an exciting space because you're really pioneers in robotics and electronics on all kinds of levels. Can you tell us a little bit, of course, about the vision? And today, surely, especially in your industry, AI is an inevitable and surely very critical part. So the role that AI is playing here when it comes to design, manufacturing, we're looking at what AI is doing today, but I'm sure it has a very long-term role to play here as well. So a little bit from you.
Just to share some more context on this, what we've typically done is we've created a wellness platform centered around a consumer robot as an enabler. These AI-powered robots engage, educate, and entertain children while assessing and reporting their developmental metrics back to parents.
Awesome.
Now we have our robots across 140 plus countries who are engaging children and aiding parents in their parenting journey. So AI playing a role of upskilling, of being a companion, and ensuring that the growth and the development of the child is happening in a direction thought by the parent, That is the whole framework that we built 10 years ago and gradually kept on improving it over the years. Today,
Yes.
it's become the most successful brand in the US
Wow.
with operations across all the major Western markets. So I think the investment that we did in building our own SLM and LLM stacks over the years since 2015 to now we are bearing the fruits of all the efforts that were taken at that point of time.
Fantastic. And again, coming to now the role that AI is playing, I mean, there's certain obvious implications, but love to also understand from the creative aspects of design, manufacturing, how is this really driving forward the entire initiative?
So the most important aspect is it is bringing about a lot of efficiency in manufacturing processes in terms of automation as well. And the product design is now focused towards higher levels of privacy, utmost emphasis on catering to global requirements because regulations around AI products for consumers are changing by every country every
Absolutely.
year.
Yes.
So manufacturing processes have to be aligned to capture those requirements. The focus is moving towards edge AI while cloud AI is growing and booming, edge AI and those areas. So your product design has to ensure that feature upgrades over the next 2 to 3 to 4 years should be capable for your hardware platform to be able to do. So you need to design those today, keeping those upcoming trends in mind have to be captured in the design.
Absolutely. So it's truly a very long-term vision that you're
Yes.
playing here. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll deep dive into this a lot more. But before that, Dhruv, coming to you. Welcome. Again, pleasure to have you. And, you know, again, your industry is also so fascinating because it's an industry that touches millions, if not billions, perhaps, in a billion in this country. Love to understand, again, from your perspective, how did you envision the shift of public transportation, bus services to be digitalized and taking forward the entire initiative to India in such a way where it's truly automated. There's so much connectivity thanks to all the tech innovation that you're playing here. So love to understand this from you.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you know, digital has touched all aspects of our lives.
Yeah.
In fact, I would dare say that we don't go through a day any longer without some kind of
True.
digital transaction or the other now, right? In many days, there'll be multiple digital transactions. And even coming to mobility as a space, I think digital has completely changed the game in mobility. With the advent of tech platforms, we now no longer sort of think of stepping out onto the road to hail a taxi or an auto rickshaw.
True, yes.
Everybody's just got used to the idea of saying you open the phone, click a button, and your transport will arrive to you. Whether it's intercity travel, in buses, in trains, in aircraft, international travel, intercontinental travel, it's all been solved, and technology has played a really, really large part in this. But when it comes to traveling within your own city, what has happened there in technology? The answer is actually nothing. 98 or 99% of India's city bus tickets are still paid for in cash.
True, yes.
To a conductor after you've boarded the bus, and
Yes.
you tell the conductor where you want to go, and they will give you the fare, and then you pay the fare and maybe haggle for the change, get the change back, etc., get a little paper ticket in your hand and do your journey. And for the vast majority of India that actually travels in buses. And this is true of many developing countries around the world, not just of India. So, you know, that was the problem that we saw. And the other thing that's closely linked to this is that the public transport experience has not been keeping up with people's expectations.
Yes.
Rather, it's been deteriorating over the years. And I think this is evident with many transport corporations in India that run city buses, showing reducing public bus ridership over the last 10, 12 years. So, you know, what we thought was, look, we've got to go in and fix this and try and actually deliver an at par or superior public transport experience. And if global cities around the world can have it, if a London and a Hong Kong and a Singapore and a New York and a Tokyo can have it, why can't a Mumbai, why can't a Delhi, why can't a Bangalore have the same thing? I think it's really that problem and that premise with which we sort of started this journey. And it's been a really long journey. I think where we've ended up now, this is the 11th year of Chalo, from where we started are two drastically different things.
Wow. Can you give us a little glimpse of what that shift has been? And also, of course, what role is AI playing here today?
Okay, I'll come to that as well. So, you know, we started Chalo with a very simple thought of saying, look, if you take a taxi or if you take an auto or even if you have your own car, there are all kinds of digital tools to help you. But if you are reliant on public transport in your own city, then there's nothing to help
Yeah.
you. You sort of go out onto the street and ask people at the bus stop,
Yes.
ki kaun si bus jayegi
Yes.
yahan, and so on, right? So we literally started off with the idea of saying, can we build an app to help people travel within their own city from one place to the other using public transport? And that one thing led to another, because we realized that given the public transport infrastructure itself in India, you couldn't build out that app to
Yep.
start with. We needed bus schedules, we needed the routes, we needed the bus stop locations, we needed GPS on every bus. None of it existed. So we literally had to go and do all of these things ourselves,
Yes.
step by step
Wow.
by step. And we had to actually work closely with bus operators, whether they're government, whether they're private, to enable all this infrastructure in their fleets. Our teams went on ground across these cities and actually plotted the latitude and longitude of every bus stop.
Wow.
We plotted every route and digitized every route.
Wow.
None of this existed before.
Sure.
So we had to do it all. And one thing led to another. And before you know it, we've ended up building a tech platform that runs entire bus operations for thousands of buses in a city. So to be able to power an app on which you can see a little dot, which is a bus coming towards you, there's this giant tech backend
Sure.
at play that we've had to build out.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you. And again, we're going to deep dive into that so much. Before that, Vijay, welcome. Such a pleasure to have you. And okay, so now, Vijay, you are arguably really a visionary when it comes to the fintech space, especially here in India. And, whether we're talking about wealth management or really the entire offering when it comes to the industry, I think the layer of tech and AI that you've implemented is something extremely unique. So love to understand what you're doing here, how AI has played a huge role, and how are you seeing the entire fintech space really shape up here in India today?
Great. So thanks for hosting me here. I'm Vijay from Neo Wealth and Asset Management. We are a 3.5-year-old startup. And I can just tell you that, in the initial phase of the startup, I believe, and I'm there in the industry since almost 18, 19 years. I don't think so any startup has grown this fast,
Wow.
specifically in fintech
Sure.
or a financial services sector. Today, as we speak, we are around approximately 50,000 crores of assets. And I just generally believe that this is just a start. What we started with, I think core idea and the whole philosophy that we believe in is, don't even aim for sky, aim for Mars, right? And I love Elon Musk. I mean, not completely, but few ideas of his, where sometimes whatever ideas you share, it just sounds obnoxious, right? And I mean, today we are just like, maybe he's just talking about buses and there are digitization in tickets. And he's saying, hey, I want to set up colony in Mars, right? And that itself talks a large volume. What we are trying to do in this country and even outside country, I mean, first phase in India, we genuinely believe that, there is still a gap, knowing the fact that since so many years, this wealth management, asset management, and fintech exist. Still, there's a gap where there is unbiased advisory.
Sure.
With cost-efficient solution, it still does not exist. And to do so, we have taken many steps, but one of those could be, in the first phase, we have just catered to ultra HNIs and HNIs. Now we are just going towards mass affluent and affluent kind of users. But what we thought is, if we just go with the same process that the market is flowing, I think we will have a tough time, right? In fact, that growth will take 10 to 15 years. What the other industries have been doing since 10, 15 years, we probably will take maybe around 10 years if we just go with the tons of experience. And we say, hey, let's change the paradigm, make more and more entrepreneurs in India, right? So we run a model where there is this entire financial services mainly runs on two major pioneers. One is client, obviously, because those are your clients. And the second is banker,
Sure.
right? Where the entire industry works on salary model, where the banker is your employee. We say, hey, you are an entrepreneur, you are not salaried. You come, sit with us. We will give you a platform. And I'll talk about the platform in much more detail. There is no salary. You are an entrepreneur. Take the cut and use the platform fee, right? And that model has just taken off with flying colors, right? Today, we are 500 plus in strength, in which 20% is technology, We are just strongly believing in technology, and we are ensuring that whatever solution that we think, AI is at the core. Well, the whole world, or maybe most of the companies, are thinking about using AI as a tool or a paradigm, but we are just thinking that everything that we build, AI is at the core. So the lots of our time and investment is going in building the architecture, which is ensuring that we are building for for next 10 to 15 years. Like what Sneh said, right? They started pretty much 10 years back, and they just believed, and now they are just getting the momentum. In fact, it's like exponential growth that we see, right? In this field, at least we have an experience, right? This is not unknown territory to us. So we ensure that our architecture is pretty flexible, AI at the core. Today, as we speak, I can give you multiple examples and how are we building. But imagine a scenario that today I have to bring in a client on my platform. I can tell you with my tons of experience, we have the best onboarding system in the country, where all kind of accounts are open digitally. You do any kind of transactions in any asset classes, we have all digital. None of them are on paper. We have the best in class reporting platform, which is completely AI based, where currently the whole industry works on a pretty much PDFs and papers and all of that. We are saying, hey, this is the app, you just chat, right? And we were just building, and then we realized that, what is the most important part that everybody's missing, where everybody's building for the clients at the first go. We say, hey, let's make our organization efficient.
Yes.
Okay. While the whole world is scared that, AI, because of AI, you will start losing a job. And we believe that, hey, it will just here to help you. Well, it will just make you smarter, right? So what we did is we just made sure that all our employees are running efficiently. And let me give an example. So we have created, so everything is agentic for us, right? So wherever we feel that, there are people are needed, we just build agent and we just deploy. The architecture is such that we do vertically and horizontally. So on vertical side, we just keep on building for all the businesses. Horizontally, we just keep building features. One feature we build, we just deploy it across the businesses, so that agent is running independently. Let me give an example. We have built something called Neomi. Okay, it's sort of course Neo. The extension is Neomi. This is our agent. Today, imagine a scenario that me as an employee, if I want to speak about Neo, let's say I wanted to start with Neo. What about Neo? I don't have to call or ask my marketing team. I can just ask on the app, tell me about Neo. What is the latest update? And it will just give me a full, entire story. Let me give you a few more examples. If I want to know that, let's say as a client, they ask you, give me my statement of account. What happened to my portfolio 3 months back? Why this stock is not performing? Which are the product approved list? We have made our bankers so independent that they are just not dependent on anybody, right? So we have top bankers, we have young folks which are just passed from college. So we just ensure that these are the next set of entrepreneurs that we have, and they all are heavily focused on AI, right? So we just keep learning, and to do so, what we sure. So like for example, generally how the technology works or technology or product works is, there is a function, a business function or a product function or enterprise functions. Then there is the middle layer, which is a product function where generally they bridge a gap between engineering and a business function. We call ourselves as business tech, right? What we do is we run this 15-day fortnightly AI council, where we call all the function leaders and one level down, who is one champion of AI or technology. Imagine this has been running since 6 months. Now all those functional heads and the one person down are our product guys.
Okay.
They write product notes, they give us the requirement, and they directly connect with engineering. And today the structure is that, there is no product line. Every business person is a product guy, and every engineering person is just coding it. And this is going seamlessly. So this is what we have been able to do.
So the AI is really powering the internal team first, and then of course everything to do
so
with the
the
customers.
advantage of that would be, it will just give us some confidence, because if we have to fail, because of course it's the whole world is still trying, and we have just gone in depth, right? So we are just not using that as a tool.
Sure.
So it is also a kind of validation that we get. right? And we are just there 90-95%. Pretty much everything that we need is just pretty much available on the platform.
Super. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And Dr. RP now, okay, from fintech to orthodontics, so interesting as well, because now you've taken traditionally a completely offline kind of business and created such a high level tech stack around it and digitized your industry as well. Can you tell us a little bit about this? What was the inspiration really to go from, again, this offline experience to completely tech driven backend? A little bit on that.
Look, in my case, I think, again, have been in the weeds, have been in the industry since almost 15 years now. Was a practicing doctor for a good 5 years before, I started out. Okay. Was doing clinical practice before I actually started this. So at the beginning, it was just about a doctor trying to solve a problem that I really saw. At the beginning, it was just about me trying to solve the problem that a lot of patients basically encountered. I had tons of adults who actually walked into my practice wanting a smile correction solution for themselves. And the only viable solution at that time was conventional metallic braces, which, for the lack of a better word, would basically pause your life for about 2 years or so. That's when we said, okay, let's bring a clear aligner technology-based solution, which is an invisible alternative for braces, to solve for smile correction and apply this to adults and not just to kids. With that, we realized that we had to actually make this product both accessible and affordable. At that time, the core technology that was available was international, US based, and extremely expensive. And of course, to build it for the Indian consumer, we had to make it very affordable and make it accessible. And that's basically pretty much how technology started coming into the different stages of the consumer journey. So right from tech-based smile assessment tools to teledentistry, virtual consultations, at-home consultations, for giving the customer the convenience to actually click, for a scan and consult for his smile, at his home via an app. Get the entire treatment plan in a simulated manner. So we've built a tool or a platform that actually allows the customer to predict how his smile will really look after he takes aligners, right? And to understand whether he really wants to go for the product or no. Moving on to the earlier process with braces, which was, 20 plus clinic visits, going to the doctor multiple times, and pretty much a hassle journey.
Yes.
We had to transform that to say, look, if everything in this world is happening at the click of a button at your doorstep, right? Why should the process of smile correction be so difficult? And that's when we introduced remote monitoring and digital smile tracking and doctor chatbots and virtual consultations with our doctors to enable that entire journey with maybe 2 or 3 visits at our centers.
Okay.
Right. So I think it was largely about just solving for the consumer or the patient in a way that just made it very, very simple.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Truly innovating the entire industry. If I had such access when I was younger, I think would have made life a lot simpler. Thank you. And welcome, Gaurav. So now, Gaurav, to understand from your perspective, PharmEasy has also completely revolutionized India's digital access to pharma in general, and love to understand what were some of the insights that you had early on, or what were some of the bets that you took early on to get you on this journey? Because again, another very revolutionary company that you're running here.
Thank you for having me. So PharmEasy started about 9 years ago with a mission to simplify healthcare in India. We started as an e-pharmacy, looking at the medicines market in the beginning. And we realized there were 3 big insights that were really a big challenge in the country. One is availability is really broken. Just getting, we're a doctor prescription market. What the doctor writes is what we want to get. And getting those medicines at a pharmacy offline is actually very broken. You end up going to 5 pharmacies to get what you need. So availability is a big challenge.
Yes.
Genuine medicines in India is actually a really big threat. So, making sure that medicines are, authentic and they're the right medicine, the right product is very, very critical. And it's a costly category for consumers. Absolutely. So, a diabetic in India would end up spending anything between 5,000 to 6,000 rupees a month in the category. So savings matter for consumers, and So reliability, availability, and savings are the big insights that we went in with. And I would say a little bit, we got a bit of a break with a catchy jingle. I think everybody remembers "Take it easy, farm easy."
Yes.
That kind of caught on. That's how we've actually gotten into consumers' hands, and the platform has obviously become a full healthcare platform. So while we are still a e-pharmacy at heart, I guess we're now becoming an e-healthcare solution. We've launched an e-diagnostics, so you can get a phlebo to come at home, take your samples. We do diagnostics in 6 hours now. We've become a full service with a doctor consult now, and we're going to launch the entire healthcare suite of physiotherapy, vaccination, all that happening at the comfort of your home. That's the premise for pharmacy, and I think that's how we've kind of taken off, I guess.
Wonderful. I was going to ask you, what are some of the factors that give you the competitive edge? But I think you've just answered that, being truly a full services platform online in India.
I feel it's a little different from the Swiggies and the Zomatos, where the frequency of consumption is very high. A grocery, for example, you're doing pretty much once a week. The need for healthcare is not that frequent, but it is a very critical service. And you can't when you need it, it needs to be very, very reliable. It has to be, it's a trust-based service, to be honest, more than anything else. So being reliable and dependable is kind of core. I think that's what we've tried to build over the last 9 years. I think consumers trust us now, and now expanding into everything that you need in health, from an ambulance to vaccination to physio. We believe we are in the right place to kind of expand into that.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you for that. And thank you all of you. What an inspiring opening. This has been much more than just an opening round of comments from each of you. And so now just to go a little bit deeper, of course, it's clear that tech and AI is driving a huge role in all of your success stories presently and your future growth. So love to understand, Ketanya, let's come back to you. How do you see AI really being that enabler of growth? Being that market leader, that factor that gives you leadership in the market, giving you that cross-channel access to customers, the entire gamut, and especially in your industry, love to understand how this is really ultimately that step that is going to push us through.
AI plays a very important role for us from, everything that we do, right? For us, merchant is everything, right? Our homes run because of the merchant. So we try and ensure that his life is easy, right? So when I say the terminals are designed by us, we ensure that the telemetry. So today I can easily tell you which pin code has the best SIM provider, right? So automatically, if there is a merchant requiring a terminal, let's say in 400013 in Mumbai, I know Airtel is the best out there. So automatically the SIM will be selected. So we ensure that the service is not disrupted,
yes,
right? The merchant wants to ensure that the terminal is easy to use. So my terminals are multilingual. They converse in 8 languages, right? So is my customer care. They converse in 8 languages, and it is pin code wise.
Wow.
So when we know where the call is coming from, we ensure that the guy speaking the common language out there picks up the phone, right? Or it goes to that person. Customer care, like I told you, we have a chatbot which solves 75% of the problems on the phone without us visiting the merchant, because every day that the merchant loses, we are going to be out of the game, right? Because any loss on sale will be on the terminal if it doesn't work.
Yes. Wow.
So small things, risk management, right? We are in the business of taking risk. When a transaction happens, you pay out the merchant in T+1, but there can be a chargeback in 120 days.
Yeah.
Right? Income is 5 bips. So you need to ensure that any potential fraud is detected before you transfer the money to the merchant and solve
Absolutely.
it. Right? So smallest of things, like, I can't send my people, like I said, I'm a tier 2 to 6 specialist, right? I am the largest acquirer in Northeast and J&K. Difficult to service. How do you ensure that most of the problems are solved on the phone? So we have a terminal management system where I can tell you everything about the terminal. When was it last charged? What is the current state of the terminal? what is not working? Can I reboot it sitting at my office? So, we want to solve the merchant's problem by making his life easy, and his life is going to be easy only if the terminal works well without any
course,
disruption.
of course.
So we've ensured that whatever tech AI that we use has to be revolved around the terminal and the merchant's life.
Yeah. So ultimately, it's all about product innovation,
That's right.
actually, in a nutshell. Yeah, wonderful. Great. Thanks for that. And Sneh, yeah, same question for you, how, especially again in your industry, AI is playing such a big role here. Are you seeing that there's kind of also an alignment happening between product, innovation, customer experience, the entire gamut, and AI powering that at the back end?
For us, AI is not just about bringing efficiency in the value chain. AI is our product.
It is.
And so what we typically have done is we have an extremely strong team across 14 disciplines: engineers, artists, mathematicians, designers, psychologists. It's a completely interdisciplinary team. Customers are present across 140 plus countries who are using our robots across time zones. Customer support teams on ground give detailed feedback that rolls in as feature upgrades and updates into products over a weekend to over a fortnight basis. And like last year, we launched over 100 software updates over the air across robots across the world. And ensuring that these robots are culturally aligned for each respective geography. Like a Japanese parent is very different from a Saudi parent, who's very different from an American parent, who's very different from an Indian parent. So their expectations, cultural setup at the home is very different. So the NLP stack is now configurable, and now we are empowering parents and allowing them to make it user configurable at a cultural level for their respective home and setting. Just this panel over here, each of us has a very different culture at home. The robot can't go into a Jain family and say, let's have a chicken sandwich today evening. So it's very simple. So ensuring that the product is culturally aligned, accepted in the confines of the family, and it is run centrally from India, operations across these countries. We have to ensure that we are not only building AI, we are leveraging AI for our value chain, building the most efficient tech stack for the product, which is having conversations with kids, which is age appropriate, culturally appropriate. You cannot afford to have any hallucinations like the large systems do. So today, our frameworks perform better than OpenAI, Bard, Gemini, and other frameworks when it comes to kids alone, just that specific audience. So ensuring that we are at the top of it and constantly innovating is the key in this game right now. So that's all about it.
Just out of curiosity, how has been the response of the kids when they are interacting in this way? And again, you're obviously being so culturally aware of different regions. So any kind of differences across geographies?
I'll give you some examples. A typical voice activated device which you would get in any of the large companies who provide these solutions, children engage with it for 20 to 25 minutes a month. With us, with a Miko, they are going on for 30 to 35 hours a month. And that is where the robot is playing games with the child as role-playing companions. Robots will play hide and seek with the child will hide and the robot will come looking for them. That's one of the games. There are like 100 plus activities and those activities keep increasing. So we are bringing age-old games to life, leveraging computer vision, machine learning, AI, bundled inside a small cute character which is loved by the child and grows with the child as the child grows. So it's bringing everyone's imagination to life. What we used to see Jetsons in the childhood is what we are actually bringing to life right now. So I guess lot of positive feedback. One very special area which is close to our heart is kids with special needs. The kind of benefits that such products also bring to engage kids with special needs and the positive responses and the love that we get from parents is something that brings us to office every day, and team is in office for 12 to 14 hours a day, looking at how the love that parents share from different parts of we get handwritten notes by kids on what Miko did with them today and what new feature they want on their Miko and so on. From across the world, they come, letters come in and so on. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, truly wonderful to understand the entire gamut of the possibilities that AI offers the world today. Fantastic. Yeah, Dhruv, let's come to you and understand, of course, you've given us this very key insight that it's not just about a transportation system, but the transportation system within one city. and the challenges that commuters face there. So when it comes to public transport or mobility in general, what is the big impact that AI is playing here for you?
Yeah, I think we're just starting to discover
Yeah.
what technologies like AI and ML has been around for a long time as well, what that can do for transportation and public transport in particular. I'll try and give you 2 or 3 maybe examples to bring it to life. First and foremost, Ketan already touched upon something, which is the payment systems itself, which are very complex. And in the public transport space, they need to work offline to be able to have millisecond transactions and very, very high accuracy on transactions, right? So we do have to worry a lot about payment security. And I think AI is going to be a game changer there in terms of the technologies that exist today and what is coming in now there. But then the service itself is very important. So how do you think that bus routes are drawn in a city? Does anyone in this panel know? Let's say you go to Chandigarh. Are you familiar with Chandigarh? Not at all, right? So how do you draw a bus route in Chandigarh?
Throw a dot at it.
Yeah, throw a dot at it. That's a good way of putting at it. I mean, so there are people with local knowledge who know typically, here's a commercial area, here's a residential area, common sense, we should connect the two, etc. And there's been a process of evolution over the last 50 to 70 years or so in different cities. But we've also encountered many cities where bus routes haven't been updated since the 80s.
Wow.
What do you think has happened to those cities, though, since the 80s, right? We've encountered cities where the city has doubled in size.
Of course, yes.
Buses are plying, but nobody's got a bus stop.
Yeah.
So it becomes colloquial knowledge that वो चौराहे पे खड़े हो जाओ बस वहाँ रुकती है. Right? It's very common actually, and it should not surprise anybody. If you've traveled around India, this should not surprise you at all. This is normal in all our cities. So I think there's an area which is very important, because this is now for the first time you have an app in a passenger's hand. You know where they are standing, at what time they are standing, and where they are asking to travel to, and the network that is available to potentially supply to that need.
Wow. Yes.
Right? So forget about real time, but just digitizing this information.
Absolutely.
It was not possible until a few years ago. And at best, our cities used to do surveys once every few years to figure out from where to where do people want to go, and then draw out new routes. And scheduling is another key aspect. It's not just a route, the schedule is very important. Putting all that together and then trying to give you a bus route, and then if we were lucky, once in 3 to 5 years, that would get revisited, and that would be a best case scenario. So this is a second area, which is very, very important, where the service itself can fundamentally change to actually serve people exactly where they are and at the time they need and to where they want to go, and to keep it all very cost efficient, right? The third aspect is the back-end operations. Fleet management is not a joke. It is really complex. And we have, in the last few years, seen horror stories in our own country and in various markets around the world play out, where people thought they could build up very, very large fleets of thousands of vehicles of different kinds and be able to run them without any problem. And it has all fallen apart.
Absolutely.
Right? Operations is not a joke. A simple act of scheduling 3,000 drivers, 3,000 conductors to 3,000 buses on different routes at different times of the day, it's not easy. And AI and ML, while you can have very basic scheduling done in an automation of scheduling is easy, but to make it the most effective scheduling to meet a certain business goal is very difficult.
Yes.
So your business goal could be maximize ridership. Your business goal could also be optimize fleet utilization. Your business goal could be manpower rationalization. Your business goal could be balanced approach towards effective utilization of all 6,000 people running this network for us and so on. It could be different business goals, and AI can actually step in and help you achieve all those goals and get much, much closer to what you need to do based on all this. So these are 3 completely different aspects.
True, yeah.
And I'll just end by saying where I started. We are just starting to figure out what can potentially happen here.
Amazing.
This is, even the form factor is changing, right? We're now talking about fully autonomous flying vehicles to get you from point A to point B.
Yes.
That stuff will get completely accelerated thanks to technologies like AI and ML.
So that's something we can hope to see in the near future, realistically.
Well, we're going to Mars.
Yes.
right? So we're bringing the transport system for sure. We have people here. We have doctors already available. We have someone to handle all the payments we need to do in Mars, right?
Great.
So, yeah.
This panel is
Yeah.
truly paving the way into the
Yeah.
future. No, that's wonderful. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Vijay, yeah, so let's come to you now. We've understood so thoroughly, again, how AI and all the tech innovation is really pushing fintech space forward. Can you tell us what is your today the boldest bet that you're making to future-proof yourself, as we are discussing so strongly, future-proof the tech stack moving forward? Because of course, as we can understand from a variety of industries, the requirements keep changing ultimately. So what are you doing today to be ready for that big move?
I think the boldest move and maybe even transformative move, as I call, is thinking AI native
Yeah.
at the core,
Okay.
right? So anything that we build, we just think AI native. So just to ensure, and it is ground up, right? There's nothing which you just say that play and plug. Okay, it's not like if you want to. I'm just taking an example. Maybe that if you want to do payments, you can just play and plug today because there are too many payment providers are available. So whatever you build, you have to build it at core. So that's the bullish move because we believe that we want to be pioneer. It's not only about growth; it is also about change,
Absolutely.
right? So you might have heard. I think everybody's just talking about one thing, right? He said that it is all about wherever you make money, and let me just put that straight on the table because that's the most important factor. Where the operations are very difficult.
Yes.
Right. Today,
Yes.
if somebody is just trying to build Miko or similar concept, I think the operations are too heavy. And I believe that nobody is trying to solve the operation at a scale, right? Maximize the job. What do I mean by that? Every time when you build, right? Say for example, even if I'm building one process, how do I ensure people are just automating, digitizing, using AI just to fast the process, but not literally thinking that how do I just stop this process in happening and rethinking the entire
Yeah.
design. So that is where the maximum time is going. Second part to this is for AI, no matter what you do, you need a lot of data, right? So we are heavily focused on building the entire data layer. That's our data lakes. And it is not about only data which is getting generated or internal data. It is also an open architecture where external data also easily plugged. Third factor, I think, is how quickly you fail and you deliver. So our release cycle where initially it used to be 15 days. Now we have brought it down to 1 week.
Wow.
Right? We follow a strong development cycle where all the releases happen pretty much within a week because the feedback loop is the most critical factor in this space, right? Sometimes you feel that something is really, really important. However, once you build, you realize that it's not. Imagine the scenario which I just spoke about, where I just factored in a servicing aspect of banker and a client. What happens today, I think this industry or specifically India, the way it is moving, I think we have this belief that in next 5 years, we have tons of millionaires, in fact, billionaires in India. How do we reach out to them at the first go? Like from the leads. Today, the whole cycle works very manual. People are searching online, generating leads and all of that. For us, it is pretty 1-minute job, right? It is just scouting all over the internet and giving you all the information. Imagine that I have to come for this interview and you are coming to meet me. You just have to type on our app or WhatsApp, Scout Vijay Patel from Neo Wealth and Asset Management, and it will give you everything and pretty much all the information available, which is freely available on internet within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? And you can then chat and ask, what are the icebreakers? Does he wear formal or can I just wear suit? Or can I just go and what gift should I take with me? How do I address him? What are the family background and all of that? And you have just kicked that client at the first go, right? So that time to market is much, much higher. And for us, we have just saved a lot of time,
Yep.
right? But it will be wrong to say that, we are just making system efficient. We are just making sure that everybody understands AI and they build on top of it and everybody is just blazing, all gone.
Absolutely, absolutely. So relevant across all industries. Yeah, wonderful. Dr. RP, so now tying in a little bit what everyone is saying, Sneh has also mentioned here so clearly that with certain industries, with certain services, the geography matters a lot. I would think in your industry that is very much the case too. So again, how are you leveraging AI and all the tech stacks that you have in place to best cater to a very diverse customer group, a diverse geography range, and really ensuring that ultimately that personalization, the customer experience really comes through in an industry like yours?
So look, we've come a long way, right? From a world where, so one part of the journey when you talk about technology per se, right? From a world where the doctor was sitting at the chair side, tightening wires physically
Yeah.
to move the teeth, right? That is now happening with doctors sitting on a software treatment planning module, designing the entire treatment plan on the computer, and that is then getting 3D printed in the form of this technology that actually brings about the smile transformation, right? The widest impact of AI and machine learning in this category, right, is actually for bettering the whole treatment planning prediction outcomes, right? Today, you already have doctors and engineers who are sitting on the computer doing it. There's actually work in progress that we're doing where we're figuring out if part of this, right, can actually deploy AI and machine learning to do that in an automated manner, where maybe only the balance 30% actually has to be done by an expert orthodontist and an engineer who oversees that. And that's the module and that's the product which actually goes out to the patient. Obviously, it incorporates a very tight feedback loop from volumes of data that you get from the patients that you've already
Sure.
sort of treated, right? This extends into manufacturing also in terms of actually making the core aligner product. We have already launched a AI-based smile assessment and smile prediction tool, right, which is very, very consumer-centric. A customer will actually, on his app, click on that product, take a selfie in the camera. Within 10 seconds, see how he'll actually look if he's got gaps between his teeth, and see how he'll actually look if those gaps go away, right? So that's one part that we've already done. I think I would say AI and machine learning together, at least in our sector, would go into all of the areas, but most importantly, with respect to outcomes, with respect to different patient categories, right? So, aligners as a product can treat teenagers, it can treat adults as old as 60 years of age.
Yeah.
Right? That's because it has really widened the application of smile correction among consumers. And again, AI works on both the treatment planning, diagnosis, and the outcome side, as well as patient engagement, compliance, tracking side, right? To ensure the best possible outcomes for different customer segments,
Yes.
which actually basically exist, right? So,
Yeah. Oh, fascinating. Again, yeah, such a complex and diverse group of a customer base. So lots of nuances to address there. Wonderful. And finally, Gaurav, yes, very excited to come to you as we slowly wrap this panel, because again, we are understanding how AI and all the tech stacks are really boosting every single industry. I'd love to understand from you as we wrap up how ultimately you're also leveraging the technology to scale, because this is truly a base here that can help in so many different aspects. And here we're talking about really bringing the entire gamut of pharma services to the entire country. So how is AI really playing a big role here in the scale-up process?
So we use AI, it's a health tech platform, right? So we use AI in largely, I'd say, 4 areas. One is in forecasting, right? Just getting understanding, because we get reams of data on how consumers are searching, what they're looking for, so and what they're buying. So now at a pin code level, I can tell you what people actually need in terms of medicine. So we're using AI to really get sharper in our forecasting models. We're using it in operational efficiencies. Obviously, I think people have talked about it. For internal processes, we have just launched. It's a great unlock actually in terms of just multiplying people's efficiency. We launched AI SQL, for example. We have tons and tons of data. We know exactly where people are doing what on the app. You can literally ask the AI now as an internal consumer on what happened yesterday in Delhi, and it'll give you an answer without having to actually go through an SQL, run the data models, and have a person actually giving you answers around it. You can actually just go ahead and literally ask what broke in the funnel yesterday. But I think the most interesting part of it, where we're using AI, is in the consumer journey, in simplifying their journeys. And I absolutely agree. I think we are just scratching the surface, to be honest. We've launched something called Swasth.ai, actually. It's available on the app. It's available on WhatsApp. One of the biggest insights we got was, you do a diagnostic test. There's a lot of numbers. Everything looks scary. If you go to Google, you are always in trouble. And we've launched a bot where you can basically just put up your report, and it will come back and tell you what's working, what's not working, where we think you need to look at it. We'll actually facilitate a doctor consultation if necessary. And now what we're adding to that is even a time lens to it. So it'll know your history of your reports as well. So it'll say, okay, this is how your sugar is moving. It's getting better, it's getting worse. And you can literally ask it anything. It's live. People love it. Our NPSs on that are upwards of 95. People have come back to it again and again to ask not about themselves only, but about their family members. It's clearly something that people want. One of the things that we've launched again on the pharma side is, finding medicines either at the store or online is cumbersome. You have to type in a very complicated name. Now you can just upload a prescription. We'll auto create your card in a second. So we've seen that adoption of that, and consumers are very savvy in India somehow. So
you figured out how to read doctor's handwriting.
I was just going to ask that question.
So the AI is like close to 95% accurate, 96% accurate. For, of course, large digital prescriptions are easy, but handwritten prescriptions, we are upwards of 90% in terms of our accuracy. Obviously, we don't place the order on your behalf. You have to do one sanity check on what we are actually thinking. But it's again an application which has worked and been picked up beautifully. I think just this whole journey of simplifying healthcare, right? AI is definitely going to be an enabler. It's a scary category. You're talking about your own health. People don't want to engage with it actively. And we are finding that AI can really help you in managing this, in simplifying it, in kind of, managing your overall actual health over years. It seems to be, as I said, just scratching the surface, but lots to do.
Absolutely. Wow, wonderful. I'm really not sure how to wrap this, because each of you have brought such wonderful insights to the table, and truly we are just scratching the surface, I think, across every single industry here. So I'd warmly like to thank all of you for being here, sharing such candid insights and very inspiring pictures of the roadmap forward in each of your industries. So all the very best to all of you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. It's really been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, on that note, that's all we have for you on this power-packed episode of ET Brand Equity in association with SAP presents Digital Horizon, charting our future together. Now, as we have seen at the heart of this dialogue, the powerful belief system that digital transformation is not just a tech journey, it's a shared vision that unites people, platforms, and purpose. We hope you have gained valuable insights from all our industry pioneers joining us today. From the entire team, until next time, many thanks for watching.